So the question is this. I had went to the road adventure trying to answer why I was so adamant about ruining my life with drugs. I had went to prison one time. We were pregnant, and I needed a solution. And when I went down there, they felt like the reason why I used drugs was because I was sexually abused as a child, right? And without this sounding like a road show or freak show, I don't really agree with that. I think that personally, I used drugs because I liked them. I liked the way they made me feel. I liked the way they made me perform in the bedroom. I liked the way that, I didn't have to worry about what I was eating. And so I could stay up all night. And that was the gist for a long time of my drug use, right? I was using dope, failing at everything, and then I got on the needle. And the part about the sexual abuse thing is I think that where that plays a role is that once you get on drugs and you get far enough along with it, because I never really felt like the sexual abuse thing was a reason, but I had used it as a reason for me getting high. In other words, I had lied about it being a reason to get my ass out of trouble to my mom and dad. I'm getting high because I was sexually abused by my brother, right? Who was my half brother who lived in Oklahoma and was quite a bit older than me. And the truth about that is that abused people abuse people. He had been abused, I'm sure. We never had the conversation. He was killed in a motorcycle wreck a few years back, and we hadn't spoken for some time. For the longest time, my family didn't believe me. Imagine that. But when you're high on drugs, as high as I was, cooking dope and doing everything, a lot of people don't believe anything. My own sister didn't believe me. And I really don't give a damn. I know what happened. And anytime anybody wants to put the money down for the polygraph, by God, let's do it. Winner takes all. Okay? I'll stand on that strong. But the part about the drug abuse and the sexual abuse is this. When I hit a point where I no longer gave a damn about anything, it was real easy for me to validate some of the sexual weird shit that I did because I had been abused. My self-worth was low, right? I had beaten myself up with drugs. I was losing everything. And so, the other argument was this, well, you've already been abused by a man before. Ain't no big deal. You can do weirdo shit. Ain't like it's nothing new. And that was the role that the sexual abuse played for me in my drug addiction. Now you gotta imagine, I am 50 years old, totally changed my ways, work out every day. And for me to admit that some of the things I was talking about is very tough for me. But it's in pursuit of one thing, not to wow or shock or get views, but to help millions of men like me that have been sexually abused and then found themselves in the addiction process where they were just lost, and then found themselves around a large amount of drugs and did some crazy shit. And I know there's a lot of you that will say, hey, I got high and I never done any of that. And I think that's great, personally. But you wasn't as high as I was. And you probably hadn't seen 1/10 of the dope I've seen. Okay? You wasn't doing the crazy shit I was doing. But for those that fall in the category with me that found themselves doing weird things when they were extremely high, or better yet, like I did, I would do a shot of dope eventually later in my life, and it would take me back into that stuff. Yeah. It would take me back to the scenes of sexual abuse. And I would act them out with other people. The weirdo shit you do. And that is the role that I believe the drug abuse played, or the sexual abuse played in my drug usage. It wasn't there for many, many years. I was just getting high and fucking girls, right? And then one day I degraded, right? I didn't respect myself no more. And when I didn't respect myself, The sexual abuse was just a catalyst for allowing me to do anything. I hope that makes sense. And if that has happened to you, or you're still battling that, or you're in the middle of that, right? Where you're prostituting yourself out for drugs for whatever reasons to whoever, and there's some history of that in your life, I want you to know the solution is just to quit using. It does get better. It does get a lot better. And eventually, all that stuff, when you get off the drugs, it goes away. You don't ever think about it. Hell, I'm married, living my best life, still fixing shit like that car, that $5,000 motor and $3,000 transmission on a $5,000 car, because I was high and wrecked it in a creek, and my mom helped me with my motor, the cost of the motor, and I had to finish it. Yeah, you're going to have shit like that. But once you get off the drugs, all that weirdo shit goes away immediately. It takes about 4 days, and you'll start getting clarity. And then you can go back into wholesome living and pursuing God and being your best version of yourself. And I want to say it again. I never used drugs because I was sexually abused. But when I used drugs, that shit started coming back. And so it's like a double-ended curse. Shooting dope in your neck, methamphetamines, cooking dope, eating dope, shoving it up your booty hole, swallowing dope, smoking dope, speedballing dope with fentanyl, speedballing dope with heroin, speedballing dope with pills. All of it will take you to weird places, subhuman places, where you'll do things that you would never do if you're just sober. And that is the God honest truth. And that's what I want for you. God bless you. Fluent English.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much.